What's up, guys? T-Rock1992 here. For this next video, I'm going to be talking about an actor who, like many others before him, and after too, started out on television, started out becoming really popular on television, on a TV sitcom, very, very popular sitcom, by the way, and got into movies that way. Kind of jumped into movies and things like that. He's also a very funny guy. The guy I'm talking about is Tim Allen. He's been a great comedic. He's been a good comedic presence for a long time. I grew up with him in my childhood with a particular set of movies that I will talk about. He's been actually part of two successful movie franchises, which I will definitely be talking about. Without further ado, I'm going to get right into his filmography, and I'll be jumping from film to television as we go throughout this video. So, here we go. Film in 1988. He debuted in 1988. His film debut was a movie called Tropical Snow. And he had a very, very small role in it if you didn't know the movie that I was talking about, a very small role. He played a baggage handler, so not very big at all. So after that, 1994 was the next movie that he did. Between 88 and 94, he did a lot of comedy specials. In 88, he did comedy's Dirtiest Dozens, and then a year later, he did Rodney Dangerfield, opening night at Rodney's Palace. Just some stuff that, and he did some comedy specials in the early 90s. Tim Allen, Men Are Pigs, and Tim Allen Rewires America. And I'm going to jump right into the sitcom that made him popular. It went from 1991 to 1999. A very popular show. Tim the Toolman Taylor. The show's Home Improvement. The show made him a star. It's just a very good show. My dad is a really big fan of the show, which kind of got me into it. I've watched a few episodes. I've watched a good few episodes through my lifetime, for sure. And I know partly of what it's about and things like that. It definitely, it ran for 8 seasons and 204 episodes. Like I said, ran from 1991 to 1999. So it definitely had a lot of big-time success. It was a... Let me see. What channel was it on? ABC. Yes, ABC. ABC will also come into play. I'll be talking more about ABC later on in this video. But, yes, Home Improvement, it catapulted Tim Allen into stardom. It was a very popular show. People loved it. The basic premise of it is that Tim the Toolman Taylor is a guy who runs his own home improvement show. Kind of, he runs his own home improvement show. I forget, I think the name of it might have been Tim the Toolman Taylor. The show in particular. Let me see. Tool Time. That's the name of the show. Tool Time. I haven't watched an episode in a long time, so I forgot the show's name. But definitely, you have some not stereotypical, but you have characters that have been played before on other TV sitcoms. You have the goofy, lovable dad. That's Tim Allen's character, Tim the Toolman Taylor. Um, Goofy, lovable, goofy but lovable. Doesn't really know what he's doing. You have the assistant, Al, who is smarter than his than Tim the Toolman Taylor, his boss. I mean, they both co-run the show Tool Time, but you have Al, who's smarter than Tim the Toolman Taylor. You have the kids, and then you have the three kids, I believe, and then you have the mother, the wife of Tim Taylor, who is the straight one in the family, the straight shooter, the one who's the normal presence in the family. I mean, you see it a lot in sitcoms and things like that, and at least you see the clueless but lovable dad and the mother who is the straight presence, the one who is the presence in the family. So you definitely see that. And again, I mean, and then who could forget Wilson, the neighbor? But you can't see his entire face. You can see just his eyes and his hat. But I mean, who can forget that? But honestly, and the neighbor had a lot of great advice. So, but yeah, Home Improvement definitely geared a little bit more, geared toward the male demographic, definitely, throughout its time. There were probably plenty of women who liked the show, too. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't completely male demographic, but the large audience of it definitely geared toward the men who love tools and that kind of stuff, power tools, that kind of stuff. And Tim Allen just brought his own brand of comedy to that. And who can forget also the arr, 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 arr. I can't do it real well, but that Tim Allen growl there. That he also, I think he's done it outside of Home Improvement too, if I'm not mistaken, but that's where it's most identified with, is Home Improvement. Moving on from Home Improvement, the first starring appearance for Tim Allen in a movie was 1994, as I mentioned. 1994 was the next movie, and he had a starring role in in 1994, he had a starring role as Scott Calvin / Santa Claus in The Santa Claus. The Santa Claus has produced 3 movies. The Santa Claus in 1994, Santa Claus 2 in 2002, and Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause in 2006. Now, the third one I know did not do well at all, box office wise. And I know the third one, actually, The Escape Clause, it had Martin Short in it as the bad guy, Jack Frost. That I know for sure. And I know that Santa Claus 3 did not do well. But especially the first one. The first one was definitely a hit. There's no doubt about it. I mean, 75% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's a very good rating. I'm curious about the rating. Santa Claus 2, it got, and you don't have to listen to all the if you really are interested in a movie for yourself, if you really want to check it out, don't pay attention to the reviews. I mean, if you don't want to. I mean, it's your choice if you want to look at the reviews and then that deters you from watching the movie. That's up to you. But I wouldn't take much stock into it. There's definitely some movies that have had bad reviews that I like. That I like as movies. Santa Claus 2, 54%. Definitely below average, but it's not, but, okay. And Santa Claus 3 was 15%. So you can see why there was no Santa Claus 4. But yeah, the Santa Claus movies were definitely big ones in the Tim Allen filmography. A year later, his greatest film success, by far, Toy Story. I mean, let's be honest. Toy Story is his big film success. Everybody knows Tim Allen plays Buzz Lightyear to infinity and beyond. His Buzz Lightyear slogan. The Toy Story movies are just so... You grow... I mean, the Toy Story movies are those sort of movies that kids and adults will like. I mean, I still like them, you know? I still like the Toy Story movies. If I see them on TV, I will watch them, definitely. I grew up with Toy Story. I grew up with the first movie. I grew up with the second movie. Third movie... The first movie came out in 1995. The second one came out in 1999. And we didn't get a Toy Story 3 until 2010. Which, I'll just say it right now, which has been Tim Allen's last movie. Last full-length movie. That was the last one he's done so far. And there is news that we are getting a Toy Story 4. And there's a date for it. It's slated to come out in 2017. We are expected to get it out then. It is scheduled tentatively for June 16th of 2017. So, look out for that, definitely. I normally say the movies at the end, the releases at the end, but I'm talking about Toy Story, so I'm talking about it here. The Toy Story movies, again, they're such lovable movies. I mean, they're great experiences to have, and they teach you, I mean, they teach you about toys, you know, your childhood love for toys. They teach you about friendship and that kind of thing. Don't take friendship for granted. Stuff like that. Definitely. So that's kind of the underlying message that Toy Story has to offer. The percentages on Rotten Tomatoes, I'm going to say them right now because they're so good. Reception-wise for Toy Story, 100%. 100%. That's incredibly hard to get. That's for sure. There have been movies that have had 100%. Not a whole lot of them. Toy Story 2, 100%. Excuse me, the Toy Story 3, let me see here, go down to 99%. I wonder who the one person was that, didn't give it a positive review. I mean, the one person who didn't make it 100%, or a couple people, or something like that. But, anyway, you see that. I mean, these movies are so popular. They are so monumentally good. Toy Story was the first movie that Pixar made. The first ever Pixar movie. And to start off that run of great films, Pixar is known for their great films. To start off that run with such a critical smash like Toy Story is unbelievable to hear. For sure. But getting into some more of the filmography, in 1997 he starred in a movie called Jungle to Jungle, and I believe I have seen part of that before. I've seen part of it. Actually stars Martin Short. Another collaboration with Tim Allen. They'd have one later with the Santa Claus 3, as I mentioned. But I don't think it did extremely well. anyway. I don't think it's as well known as some of the some of the films in the filmography that Tim Allen's done. In 1999, he did an underrated movie that had success, and that was Galaxy Quest. I have not watched that movie in years, but I remember it being very good when it. I watched it a long time ago on pay-per-view, back when my family had the Dish Network. That was years ago. Now we have cable. But Galaxy Quest, it's a spoof on Star Trek mainly. It's a spoof movie that spoofs, yeah, pretty much mainly Star Trek. But it's a funny spoof. It's a good spoof, from what I remember of it. It also has Sigourney Weaver and Alan Rickman in it. In 2000, he came out with a direct-to-DVD, I believe. I think this may have been direct-to-DVD. Direct-to-video, rather. He starred in Buzz Lightyear of Star Command: The Adventure Begins. And that was a movie that I've watched before on television, and I really liked it a lot. I really did like it a lot, for sure. And then he was on... Actually, I don't think he was the voice of... He starred in the movie, but he never starred in the TV show as Buzz Lightyear. But anyway, 2001, he stars in a movie called Joe Somebody. I've watched parts of it before. I think it's where he has to try to fight this bully, or something like that. Julie Bowen is in it, Patrick Warburton, Hayden Panettiere, to name a few. But that's one worth mentioning, kind of. I've watched parts of it before, not really, though. In 2004, he appeared in Christmas with the Cranks, with, I believe, Jamie Lee Curtis. A Christmas movie, obviously. Let's see here. I'm wondering... Holy shit. Pardon my language, but 5%. 5% on Rotten Tomatoes. I didn't realize how bad the movie was on Rotten Tomatoes. But, again, your opinion on the movie, obviously. Critics normally don't give comedy movies justice, in my opinion, but that's for another video, totally, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, 2006, he comes out with The Shaggy Dog, which is which was an unsuccessful remake of the film in 1959. It was remade as a television film in 1994. So this Shaggy Dog version did not do well, despite the fact it had Robert Downey Jr. It had Danny Glover. Some big-name actors, definitely. But this version did not do well at all. 2006 also, he starred in Zoom. This is a movie where he stars as this superhero of sorts. He stars as this superhero guy who teams up with his family or something like that. I don't think I've seen the movie per se. Not really, but just Zoom I'm mentioning as one of his other movies. 2007, Wild Hogs. Big cast, too. This is, I remember watching it a long time ago, and I liked it. It was good. You have Tim Allen, you have John Travolta, you have Martin Lawrence and William H. Macy in the 4 main roles. But Wild Hogs, it is, it got, wow, his movies have just 14% on Rotten Tomatoes. It definitely did not. I like the movie, definitely, but the low percentages on Rotten Tomatoes and the reception toward his movies. I have no other movies to talk about, by the way. I'm all out. But the movies that he's been in, some of the percentages I've read to you guys, beyond the Toy Story ones and the two Santa Claus movies, they haven't been that good. His comedy movies outside of those two franchises, disregard the third Santa Claus movie, just have not been good. And I think that's a reason, that's kind of a reason why he hasn't been in movies since, 2010. So I think it's kind of that reasoning of why he hasn't been in movies, because directors, producers, whoever, maybe they don't really want to hire him because his movies tend to do pretty badly at the box office and critically. So I mean, maybe my opinion is wrong. I don't know. Let me know what your opinion is down in the comments below. I don't get a lot of comments anyway, but I would love to hear from you guys, definitely, about for any of my videos, for sure. If you have a question or anything like that, if you have something to say, put it down in the comments below. That's it for television. I mean, movies, rather. For television, he's starting a TV movie, Jimmy Neutron, Win, Lose, and Kaboom. I remember watching this a long time ago, because when I was younger, I was into Nickelodeon and I was into Disney. Those two especially, Cartoon Network as well. But Jimmy Neutron, Win, Lose, and Kaboom, I remember that. He played the villain. Meldar Prime, his name was, in an alien. And I remember the movie being good. And currently, you could see Tim Allen starring on ABC in the sitcom Last Man Standing. He's been on the sitcom since 2011. He plays the main guy, Mike Baxter. Let's see. I mean, Nancy Travis. Maybe, I think I've heard of her before. Hector Elizondo, I've heard the name. But, so far, 4 seasons and 74 episodes. Which definitely, for a sitcom, if you can go past 2 seasons, that's good for a sitcom. But yeah, Last Man Standing, you can see it on ABC. I have not watched it yet. I'm hoping that it comes on Netflix at some point, so that I can go in order from episode to episode and watch that, because that's what I like to do for Netflix, for the shows. Other than the fact that in film, he's done a couple short films related to Toy Story, and some specials on television, including this special Toy Story That Time Forgot. It came out not too long ago. He really hasn't done very much except for the sitcom Last Man Standing. So he is finding work with that, but excuse me, not quite the work that he got a while back. So hopefully with Toy Story 4, he can come out with some more comedy films. Maybe. Maybe he can come out with some comedy films if there's some good ideas and things like that. Maybe there is still hope for his film career beyond Toy Story, the Toy Story film series. So, without further ado, that's it for this video. D-Rock 1992 out.